What's going on, guys? My name is Joe Graves, and this is Mastering Business Growth. Running a business can either be amazing or an absolute nightmare. So on this show, I speak with people who are killing it in business, and I find out what it really takes to succeed. If you think you'd be a good guest, then drop me an email at joe@innersound.media. Enjoy the episode. So, thank you so much for joining me. I've been really looking forward to this because when we had our pre-podcast chat, I got your full story and we talked for like an hour and it was fantastic. There's not much you haven't done. So please, can we start with who you are and what you do?
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure to be here. It is a pleasure to be here. My name is Gihan Badi. I'm the founder of GB Atelier, a CIT chartered practice. I've been running the business since 2016. In my business, I don't just do architecture or design homes. I do also research. Recently, I was leading a big training workshops for about disaster risk management for Libya local authorities with a collaboration between my business and European initiative Rebuild. I have a great passion for architecture technology, building a great relationships with my clients, understanding their needs, understanding their psychology. I give huge time to this. So I moved from working in big practice as an employee to a person leading her own business because of all this passion. I don't want a person to say to me, you need to work only certain hours in this certain project. I want to give it my all. So I enjoy the process and I see my clients happy. So that's what I do.
That is lovely. And this started when you were a kid, didn't it?
Yeah.
Please tell me how you first got interested in this.
Well, I grew up not a normal environment for everyone, like going to a kindergarten or nursery. I grew up in a farm where I used to play with muds, stones, small pieces of ceramic, broken things with my twin sister. And we used to always build things with, instead of, having toys, we want to build things ourselves using muds and all these pieces of broken things. So the passion grew up since really young age. Seeing my father doing property development and, being involved in construction, we said, when we grow up, we want to be architects, and we did it. She lives in Libya. I live here for about 20 years now or more, long time. But it's always the passion that I want to do something that it makes me happy. And I want people to appreciate what I give them, as an architect. And then through the years, I felt architecture, it's not the only thing I want to do. I don't want just to design. I want to continue the process until I give the key to my clients. And that's why I want to do architecture technology. So I understand more about the building, that things you put together. You don't want to draw, few lines to say, this is a layout of a building. You need to make sure what these lines means to your clients. You tell them, hey, this is a brick, it's a cavity wall, this is a roof, and we're going to construct it this way. So that's what I like. And, and then I said, no, that's not satisfying me. I want to understand more about built environment. That's why I conduct my research. I got my doctoral degree. It's not about doing a research to be a doctor or called a doctor. For me, it's because of the passion. I always want to find why we're doing this, how we can live with all these world challenges, floodings, what's happening in America, in Florida these days. And, we hear about terrible stuff happening all the time. But we, as a people involved in construction industry, how we can give a great environment for people to save their lives. So that's the passion. I'm still learning, by the way. You never say, okay, I get to the point where I want to be. No, keep learning. That's me.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Obviously, you've had quite a journey in various things that have led up to where you are now.
Yeah.
This show's called Mastering Business Growth because I'm curious about how people operate, what makes them tick, and why they end up in business, really. So why not just continue to work for someone else? What made you, why don't you take us back to the start, where your career began, and just walk us through what led you to where you are now and why you decided to start your own business?
Yeah, so I start my journey more than 25 years ago, let's call it. Don't count my age. So I started in Libya after I graduated as an architect. I studied architecture and urban planning. I was teaching at university, and I worked for a practice for a few months. Didn't like the environment. That's me. Because I want always to lead what I'm doing. I want to have more input instead receiving instruction. Maybe I just born like this.
Were you always like that? Or
I'm always like this. I hate to get orders. I want always to be involved.
I'm the same.
So that's me. And I went to my dad and he was running his construction company. I said, I want to work for you. Could I be the lead architect? And then he says, go for it. I worked with him for 7 years. But
when you started that, how much experience did you have?
Nothing, but I'm a hardworking person.
You were good with mud. And
I love to learn. But look, if you don't put yourself forward, you will never learn too quick. And I'm a person who learns too quick. And I always want to be pushed to the front line so I can give more. If you keep people where they are, they will stay where they are. You need to push them to the front, challenge them. Believe me, you get the best out of them.
Is that something you just knew instinctively?
I don't know.
Or is it something you now understand in hindsight?
No, but I'm always a driven person. I'm always say, why? Why are you doing this? I always ask questions. So I wanted myself, I don't want people to tell me to do this. When I worked in practice for a few months, I found people to say, oh, we wanted to do it this way. And I said, why we don't do it the other way? Can we think of more? Can we compromise? They want to say, no, this is how we see it. That's how it goes. And I was like, but that's not right. You know what I mean? That's how I think. I like to question. I want people to put different options. It's not a template that we need to follow in our life as a business. We need to be creative. We need to ask our clients why we're doing this. We need their input. We need to understand how they think. You cannot just design something and tell your client, go, this is what I do for you. You need to listen. This is me all my life. I want to listen to people, not just as a designer, as even when I was in academia. When I see students who they don't care about the lecture itself, or they're not interested, they sit at the back of the room. I always try to walk through and ask this person, you don't like the lecture? What's going on? I try to get them involved. Sometimes they feel like they are not comfortable because I'm doing this, but I kept doing it until they become interested more and more. You need to take these people and get them out of their comfort zone and make them involved. That's my personality. So when I worked with my dad is quite a tough person. Bless his soul, he passed away years ago. But I used to challenge him. Even he's my dad and he was my boss at the time, but I used to challenge him. But I'm glad he gave me the space. He understands my personality, but he gave me the space to talk and give him ideas, give option, how we do things right. Now, I'm not teaching him, but that's how I see things. So I started this way. But then I said, no, I want different adventure. I moved to the UK. I met my husband. We got married in 34 days, which is a funny story. Don't ask me about it. But then I moved here. Literally after 3 days, I told my husband, I want to work. And he was like, still honeymoon. I was like, but I want to work. My English wasn't great. And I met his friends who are doctors and scientists. And I said, I'm going to apply for a job. They start laughing at me. And they said, it's impossible. Literally, they said to me, some of them said, we've been there for 12 years. Some says 5 years, We're struggling to get jobs, and even they are doctors or engineers. I said, but I will make it. I just say that. I didn't even tell my husband. I wrote a really poor CV, submitted to one of these agencies. And I said, I'm going to do it. And then I got a phone call. I was with my husband in the car, and I said, oh, an agency asked me for an interview. And my husband said, what did you do? I said, I just sent my CV last night and they are calling me for an interview to assess my qualification to put me forward for businesses. That was in 2004 and it was August. And I said, yeah, I'm coming. So I went for this interview. They said, we have 2 jobs. One of them a DLG architect. I said, yeah, okay, I'm going. So they told me, they gave me advice, fix this in your CV, you have appointment next week. And I was like, okay, I'm going for it. I went for it. And to be honest, first time I went to this office with my English is not great at the time. I texted my husband. I said, gosh, I feel too small. The office is so big. And he said to me, nobody going to kill you. Just going to do and do it. It's stirring my head until today's day.
I remember you telling me about this. Yeah. That's great advice. It really is.
Nobody going to kill you. Just go and do it. It was this thing changed my life, because when I went for this interview, I was so powerful. I was talking with have nothing to lose, you know. I can do it. I remember my boss afterwards, he became Julian Monahan, and he said to me, what's your plan for the future if you get the job? I said, I might be your partner one day. To be honest, I didn't know how I said it, but I said it. I said, maybe I will be your partner one day. And he's like, yeah, okay. And I left and I was like, do I think I'm going to get it? I still, doubting myself. But they say, yeah, you come. I was waiting outside. They said, okay, there is other people applied for the same position. You have 5 days to work and show us your skills, and we're going to see it. And they gave us, appoint somebody to teach us on how to use softwares and things. And I used to use AutoCAD. I never heard of MicroStation in my life. And they start teaching me how to use the software. And in my head, I was like, oh my God, how am I going to do it? Especially when they start explaining things in terms I never heard yet, I'm still learning the language. And I remember my friend, at that time, she was a new person to me. She's Italian. And she said to me, it's AutoCAD, but they call it MicroStation. And again, this thing changed my life. Because when she said this to me, I said, yeah, it's AutoCAD. So this person said to me, you can use this command this way. I said, oh, I can do it the other way. He says, oh, you don't want me to teach you. You go ahead and use the software.
And that's just software for architecture?
Yeah, for architecture to use to create, floor plans and all of that. And it worked. After 5 days, they said to me, you got the job. And it was like a dream come true. First, I'm just been in the UK for a few months, and I got and it was a permanent contract. All my husband's friends didn't believe it. Nobody believed it. Even I called my dad and I said, I got the job. He's like, when did you plan for that? And I was like, well, I just did it. So this is how it started, But then things start open to me. I start year after year. I was like, okay, I don't want just to be doing visibility, design concepts and planning drawings. I want to move forward. I want to do more. But because when you work in a big companies, it's not easy just to ask for a change to happen, because there are many people to deal with. Not a person wants just to achieve a dream or something. They are not following one person. But every time you go for appraisal, you'll highlight where you want to go, but they don't have the resources to make it happen. Until I decided in 2012, okay, next year, 2013, I want to do architecture technology course. Would you help me to go part-time at least, working 3 days? They gave me this chance and it was great. So I managed to do it. I get my qualifications, architecture technologies, and I start begging for moving after planning, in terms of dealing with jobs. So I start working on tender packages, details, but I said, okay, I want to go to site now. I want to do more. It didn't happen. So I start traveling. So every time I have a chance, I go and attend conference about architecture, climate change, resilience, and all of that. I went everywhere, you name it. I went to even South Africa. I went to Malaysia. I went to South Korea. I went everywhere. And I start learning. I found architects, architecture technologists, other people involved in construction industry, they talk about things I never heard of it in my work environment. And that's why I start saying, oh, we are designing a project that's in floodplain area, but the design approach is not right. I start challenging, and I felt I might cause headache because I start seeing things might not be right when we deal with it. And that's when I said, okay, I want to do a research. I want to have more in this. So when I challenge somebody, I have the knowledge, I have the skills, I have the right things to say. And that's when I asked, again, my employer to give me a chance to go part-time again. And I did it. But I didn't, when I got the scholarship to study, to do my PhD and have a chance to teach during the week, something terrible happened at work. I didn't expect this to happen, but it happened, It's got a sign for something, or that moment of clarity. So I resigned on the same day. I never planned to resign, but sometimes you will be pushed to a limit where you have no option but to make a quick decision. I never regret it. But that was the decision that changed my life.
Can you let us know a little bit? Obviously, you don't have to go into detail. What was it that made you decide you have to quit? Was it just something go against your values, or what was it?
I was working a bigger project as a lead architecture technologist for preparing tender packages for a bigger project in Leeds at the time. And something happened that I found myself in one of the big presentations to the client that my name was taken out. Somebody else was, but his name was there. And I felt like my hard work was given to somebody else. And I couldn't take this any longer. And I had to resign. It was hard hit.
Do you think you know why that might have happened?
I didn't question it, but I was in my head. It happened to many people before. I heard of it. So not only in this practice, you will always hear these stories. In big companies, something like this could happen. I can't blame anyone. I still have good relation with everyone. I know I was really extremely upset for the first week. Especially when I resigned, I tried to speak to solicitor and I felt lots of negative energy around me. I said, I can't continue with this. Things happen for a reason and you need to look always to the bright side, even I'm extremely upset. And literally after 10 days, I flipped completely and I contacted the main partner at this company. I said, forgot about everything happened. I forgot about a letter I sent to, about why I resigned, forgot about everything. I want to start a new chapter in my life. And I want to keep my relationship with everyone, even the person that might hurt me. I want to keep my relation with everyone. I'm generally a positive person. Terrible stuff, bad things happen in life. But if we keep holding them, we never move forward. We keep always stuck to the past. We need to live our day. We need to learn from the past and we need to have a good plan for the future. That's how I see it. And that's why straight away, I start I found myself having to start my PhD in September in 2015. I couldn't do it with a lot of things happening. I have to postpone it until January 2016. I start teaching around toward the end of October or 1st of October, early days of October in 2015. I resigned in this period, toward the end of the year. And I found myself without my proper income. Big mortgage, child, big house, But my husband was full support of me. When he heard that, when I told him I resigned, I told him I'm not coming back to the house that night. I stayed outside. I don't want to see anyone seeing me, with my broken moment. I don't want anyone to see me. But I went back. I went strong. I started thinking in a positive way. Okay, things happen for a reason. I think maybe I need to start my own business. So with Leeds Beckett, with the support they're giving, with the Enterprise Academy, I went for, somebody to supervise me, to write business plan, to see how things gonna start and everything. I was like, I'm gonna do it. So they helped me even how to build my website. They gave me a small fund of £500 to start up with. And it was amazing. I was really happy. It made me busy creating something from scratch, from nothing, But then I look back now and I was like, gosh, how it started. I was scared maybe, but I'm glad that I didn't stick to my fears. I just was brave enough to move forward. And the business just grow every year. And the last 3-4 years, I'm hitting my target income and maybe above. But the money, not always my main concern with. It's important. We need money to survive. But what I am happy with through all these years when I look back, that within 8 years, I managed to make a great network of clients that I call them friends. I create things that I call them a design that it made by a passion, So yeah, it wasn't easy. It's not easy just to resign and to start from scratch with huge commitments on your head, on top of your shoulders. And to be on 4 years, literally from 2016, where I launched my business in February, so 4 months after I resigned, to be doing a PhD full-time, teaching full-time, running a business full-time, taxi driver full-time for my son is not easy. But it's need a lot of motivation within yourself, a high level of commitment, and making all this huge pressure from different parts as an experience that you're going to enjoy in the future. Because I always say to myself, it's hard. This is going to be history one day. I keep telling myself all the time. Every time I go through huge pressure, I say to myself, it's going to be a history. And to be honest, I'm doing this with my clients. When they says, when this house going to finish, it's a long time to get the planning and we're going to start. And I was like, look, it's going to be history and you will enjoy the process. And I convinced them because I gone through it and I'm enjoying it. It's history. And that's why it make a story I can't tell.
That is so fascinating. I'm curious because you've got this most bulletproof mindset and you seem to be able to approach any obstacle and just be like, do you know what? I'll deal with it. Where's this come from? Was it always just there instinctively or is it something you've had to work at?
No, it's me, how I built. I grew up in tough environments. Look, I tell you, I grew up in Libya at the time where, if I mention the 80s, where we are not allowed to study English, for example, or any language.
I remember you telling me about this when we spoke before. I didn't know that.
During Gaddafi era, everything was hard. During the 80s, there's not even chocolate in shops. People, if they travel to Turkey and come back, they bring bananas and they cut it to small pieces so he can taste the bananas. Tuna, think about it. Anything that we think it's not the main necessary food like rice and pasta and, these things that are not important. You will not find them in the shops. That's how we grow up in Libya. It's a tough environment.
So you have some real perspective of what is really tough.
Yeah. And I found how my family dealt with it. I learned from my dad. I learned how my mom managed to feed a big family. I have 6 brothers and sisters and, So when you see how your parents manage the process in hard time, but you still like enjoying everything and you are happy. So that's how I grew up. Let alone Middle East and how the women at the time, it's a male dominated sector as an architect to start with. They will look at you, oh, why you are working? Your dad is a rich man. Do you need money? No, you don't need money. You are here for another purpose. And that's what annoys me, so hard. I've been heard this few times when I worked with other people, in their own businesses at early start. I told you that's why I didn't like it. I just went to my dad and said, I work for you. Because I don't like people to question why I work. So that was tough environment. But I managed to work around it and I still made myself happy, And that's when I moved here to come into a country that you know nothing about it. And you have to go through every single process on your own with the language that you start build day by day. It's another challenge. It's not easy. But if you are willing for a change and if you are willing to make yourself the better version of yourself, you need to take it as a positive thing and as a step for you to move forward, not just to go and lock yourself in a room and cry, because it's not going to work. So
that's right, it will not.
Yeah, that's how I do it. I wanted to learn. To be honest, I'm still learning. I learn each project I get, receive from my clients. They are different. I used to work in my practice since 2016, doing extensions, loft conversions. And then I found myself moving to design homes from scratch, not in the UK, in Ireland, And then I start find myself doing renovation for buildings that they are 300, years old or 100 years old, and you need to add extension to them. These, let's say, sensitive structure, and you're going to add more structure to it, and challenges. I have another project where you are dealing with a site that classified as a flood zone area. It's a massive site. The clients want to invest it. Okay, how am I going to do it? I'm using all the skills, all the knowledge I built through the years to write a good research, good statement to convince other people that we can do things, and you need to tell them how you're going to do it. It's all challenges, but we are learning through the process. I never say to myself, oh, I know my limit, yeah? But I'm always willing to add more knowledge to myself. I always want to learn something new. I love to go online and find a course. Okay, go and register and do it. Some people said to me, where are you going to stop? I said, don't ask me. I love to do it. Even when I was nominated as, for the president-elect position at CIT, I didn't get the position, but I don't regret the process. Maybe the day of the election wasn't great, but I never regret the process, because I learned a lot. I dig deep on the institute itself, was wondering why we have an issue with the number of people joining the institute, what the institute needs to do to be known globally. So I started learning about a lot of things for months. So when I look back, and I was like, oh, I feel like I understand the institute inside out. Not everyone, maybe the people working close inside the institute maybe don't know what I know. You know what I mean? So I never regret things even I didn't get. I put much time in it for free, but I'm doing it for myself. I'm improving myself as a person. I'm improving my knowledge. Yeah.
Did you ever find, because you obviously grew up in such a hard environment, and seemingly everywhere you look, there's obstacles that most people won't have to face, particularly in the world we live in now. Were you inspiring people around you to take bigger steps, or did it feel like quite a lonely journey?
It's mainly the young one when they approach me for help. I was approached by many architecture technology students to say how we're going to do things, how we going to work in practice, how to start. And I have helped a lot of them, and I'm proud. And to be honest, the thing I still do, I believe in helping people and not waiting for any reward. If I can't employ people, because I told you, I'm a sole practitioner, and I would love to continue working for myself because I want to enjoy what I am doing without pressure, managing other people. But if somebody approach me, they want to work for me, I always find a way to get them job somewhere else. So I never let them down. I love to help them. And that's what they like. They like that I'm still giving them the time. I'm still, for free. I still advise for free. It's not about money, but I'm trying to tell these people we can be nice and kind and help each other, And I keep doing this all the time. It's not easy to put too much time on something, or like try to find a job for somebody. It's not your job. It's not your business. But that's how I do it. When I was delivering a public talk, I think 3 years ago in London, the London Architecture Festival, and my talk about understanding client psychology. And when I start talking about, I love to spend long time with my client, understanding them, changing design options, and until they are happy. Some people were not happy with that because they said, no, we just want to design and get paid and move forward.
But you might find the actual project is 10 times easier once you know, well, that's going to upset them. They're going to like that. They like to work this way. So it really pays dividends to do the groundwork. Yeah,
but I enjoy the process, regardless how much time. I don't limit myself with the time. I don't say, oh, this hour I have to achieve £60. I don't do it this way. I told you, last night I was having a business meeting with my client. They're a couple. I'm renovating their 80s home, big extension. One of them, she wasn't convinced about the size of a window. And I did nearly 10 options now, or maybe 10 option plus. And The other half is happy with the options. But he was like, no, go ahead. I said, no, I don't want to go ahead until your partner is happy. And we were discussing for more than an hour until she said, I'm happy. And that's my goal. When she starts smiling, and it means the world to me. I want my clients to be happy. And that's why I build good relationship with them. And my clients, it's once you start putting this hard work, and your clients value your hard work, you will find them without any something planned or intention for it. They will recommend you for other people, and that's how your business grows.
Do you know, that's something I wanted to talk about. Obviously, I do want to talk about the nature of how your business works, how you find clients and whatnot. It seems very similar to the way we operate. It's all about word of mouth referrals and kind of harnessing that through just being a decent person. But I'm curious, first, how much do you think it affected running your own business by working for someone else before? Were there things you were able to pick up and transfer them directly across to give you a bit of a head start, like, you know, to like just workflows, processes? Did you find it useful working for someone else before?
I didn't learn that much working for people.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Because I was limited to what I do. Visibility study, photo montage, design concepts, planning.
So you're just doing something you could already do anyway?
Yeah. No. My business, that's why I wanted to run my own business. I want to start the process from the scratch, meeting my client, help them to write the brief. We put the brief together, and if anything missing, we're adding, and then we move forward to the site visits, and we talk about challenges and things, and then we set the program, how we're going to put the project forward, and then if it's existing building, we need to put the survey, and then we start the design concept, and then when everyone is happy, we move to planning, and after planning, okay, let's look at the next step where we start putting, the tender packages, construction details, and then move to site. I enjoy the process, and the challenges from each project completely different from others. When you work for other people, sorry for people who they are employed, you will find yourself doing the same thing every day. You don't hear about challenges. You don't meet your clients. You don't see the issues coming from the site, from the contractor or the builder. You don't know everything about this. But through my business, I learn a lot because I see it all. I see it from different angles. And that's why I wanted to do it this way. I don't want somebody to tell me, okay, this is your rule, ends here, somebody else gonna take your design and deliver. That was upsetting me.
It sounds like your personality would not fit into that.
No. No. And that's why I was always not happy. I wasn't satisfied. When I go for appraisal every year, I keep telling them, I don't want to do this. I can't be in a form or a template that I can go out of it. That's why I went out. That's why I start traveling. I start learning from people. I have 2 trips planned again to Malaysia and other places because I want to learn. I want to see different things. And that's why my business expanded. When I was teaching at the Leeds Beckett University, the final year, 2020, lockdowns and things, I was teaching a model construction technology to master's students. I don't see the students because it's a distance learning module. But I was giving it all to my students. When I see their emails, I always respond to each email individually, not copy and paste a different question. I try to give them more from my time, even if I don't see anyone. And maybe one of this passion felt by one of my students. I found him emailing me on using my business email to say, sorry to email you here. I'm one of your students. I never seen you, but I know from your profile that you are an architecture technologist. I want somebody to design my house. I have somebody designed it for me, but I want your opinion. I looked at it. I was like, oh my God, how's somebody going to design a house in a nice green field? That doesn't relate. It's like you bring a house from Thailand and you want to put it in UK, let's say in York, in the outskirts of York. It doesn't fit. You need to understand the environment. So I said, oh, sorry, did your architects see the site? He says, no, I asked him for a 4-bedroom house and he gave me this design. I was like, no way. So I emailed him back, okay, can we have a meeting? He says, yeah, I live in Birmingham. I'm happy to see you. I met him toward the end of January 2020. And he said to me, can you go with me to Ireland to see the site? Because I told him, I'm not going to do anything until I see the site. And I told him I have my doctoral viva happening on the 9th of March. He says, we travel on the 11th. I said, yeah, let's do it. A week later, we have the lockdown. But everyone complains. People move to furlough and all of that. I have 2 big projects in Ireland to deal with. I was busy. When people, stay at home doing nothing, I was working. So it was fantastic. So that's how it started, getting a client through teaching, but because they felt how I care about what I'm doing, regardless if it's teaching, academia, or business.
Was this your first client?
No. That's the first client from Ireland.
Oh, right, yeah. Of course, it was about 4 years in, wasn't it?
Yeah. I had a few projects running in Leeds. Yeah, Leeds, Hull, Northumberland, different places, Halifax. Yeah. Have done lots of projects, but they are all like extension renovation of buildings. But to start building houses from scratch, it was Ireland. Yeah.
Is this, so I like to talk about how people win business, because that's kind of the unspoken half of running a business. People don't really talk about how much of a big deal it is.
Yeah.
Developing, business development. People just talk about what they're doing. So in my eyes, it's at least half the work, but you found the way to basically just be a good person, open yourself up to people, and that leads to referrals. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Yes. So I remember before meeting my first client in Ireland, and I know that my doctoral degree viva is happening in March, you start thinking, oh my God, okay, it's the end of the teaching year as well at university, where I'm gonna have an income. You hear a lot about coronavirus, lockdowns start happening in different parts of the world. What's going to, you start worrying about all of that until this email comes from this first client from Paul Garvey, my first client. We are close friends. And then I went to Ireland. I met him. I met his family, his wife. And then they like the way that I'm trying to tell them how we can do with this land and what sort of design I can explore options for. And then his brother said, can you do mine as well? And I was like, well, yeah, I'll do it. So I went back to Leeds with 2 projects in hands. And then when you start working and do planning, there is always a gap waiting for planning decisions. And he's like, oh, what's going to happen? And then you get another phone call. Oh, somebody recommended you. Can you go and see my site? I was like, yeah, okay. And this literally happened every time I go toward the end of project. You receive a call or 2 from people say, oh, you've been recommended from somebody. So when I go and sit in my office, I was like, okay, I'm going to maybe create a leaflet but I didn't, when I start writing even a leaflet and try to put an advert, I get the job. I was like, forgot about it.
Yeah, you don't always need them, do you?
So until today, I didn't write a single leaflet or I did any paid advert anywhere. It's all by my clients. And I think for anyone in there, a sole practitioner or small business, don't waste your time on all of this.
Do you credit that down to just being really good at what you do? And I've noticed as well, I think when people are dealing with very high value services, because let's be real, I don't know what kind of numbers you're talking about. These are not cheap things people are doing, building a house from scratch. Yeah. I think those are the kind of people where they don't want to read something on a leaflet. They need to know this person
relationships.
is going to, relationships.
Relationships industry is great. Building relationships with people, with your clients. Look, your clients want somebody to give them the time to listen and understand their needs. If you dig deeper, you will start to talk in psychology. And that's what I do. I tell my client, I'm not going to freeze this option until you're 100% happy. I ask them to pay by the end of each stage of my work. I don't even pressure them to pay in advance or anything. I do my first side visit at a meeting for free. I want to build this connection. I want them to feel like I'm doing it for them, regardless how much it's going to cost. And that's how I build it. I give my clients everything, during the process. I give them my time, my intention, my care. And that's what your clients want. And once you have this, I think this is the investment you make toward your business instead of writing leaflets, putting adverts. If you invest into clients, believe me, they will spread the word for you. And through them, you will get a lot of work. And this is, for me, is better than go and put too much time online doing all these videos. I don't think anyone watched them.
Do you know what's interesting? It's almost like the more people I speak to, and it's almost like a generational thing. There's like older business practices and newer business practices, which is all like gimmicks and leaflets and things like that.
Yeah.
It really is interesting to hear that the big money it's in relationships.
Yeah, it is.
Anyone who's made money that way, and that's how we started, funnily enough, because I think I told you years ago we were music producers, and it was really just who you knew that opened up doors to work, and it was nothing to do with a Facebook post. I'm not saying they don't have any value, but it's not the reason you're winning big jobs, particularly when you're talking things that cost more than £10.
Yeah.
A leaflet might get you to go to an event, or a post might make you buy a £1 product or whatever, but it's never going to be the thing that generates real business when you're talking tens of thousands of pounds. And of course, it's not going to you and your service, but it's part of what can be, I imagine, in the millions sometimes.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. If you want to fix the gutter in your roof, or if you have any problem in your house, do you really gonna take leaflet coming through your door, or you ask for recommendation?
Correct.
Take it this way, as simple as that. I see leaflet coming from architects, saying we can provide a service, we're going to do this and that. Take them and bend them, sorry, with all respect. I want to receive recommendation about a work. I want, for me, when my client asks me, okay, we want a builder, can you advise? I recommend builders I know. I worked with them in the past. If I don't, I ask other, architects, architecture technologists to recommend builders that are good. But we receive tons of leaflets about builders around in your areas. I don't take this. I want recommendations. I don't want to be responsible about taking the leaflets, pass it to my client and say, use this. And if they do terrible work, I'm the person to blame.
It's so obvious, isn't it?
Yeah. So I want recommendation. I want people that they know you, they trust the way you work, and being genuine, and people trusting you. And that's why I feel free, and I feel like, I can do it. I can pass your contact to somebody else.
Do you find that this is a reliable way to make sure you're making a living? Because in many ways, all the modern things, like whether it be like leaflets, email campaigns, that whole thing, it seems like it's a way to make sure you've got control over it, but you don't really.
Yeah.
Do you find that just having good relationships, and again, with other suppliers like builders and whatnot, do you find that helps getting work?
Believe me, because look, we live in the time where we see too many painted pictures online. Do you think everything you see on Instagram, Facebook is real? It's all filtered. And it's filtered is a reflection of what you see in leaflets and adverts. We need to see the genuine thing, which has come through relationship and genuine, conversation with people. I'll give you another example. I was approached by these cold emails inviting me for networking events. And I was like, I haven't done networking for a long time. Let's go for it. It was last month. And I went. It was early morning. I went to the room and I was like, I was late. Shame on me. But I found the room full of people. And they put us around, like 10 people around each table. Okay, and they were telling us, exchange business cards. And that's how you create network. And I was like, okay. And they said, okay, introduce yourself and talk about your business. And I was like, okay.
Feels a bit forced.
What was weird for me is this kind of networking, it's not the one is going to bring clients to me. If you are trying to create this sort of events to bring me clients, but it could make good connections with people doing other services. For example, I met a gardener and a lady who is a garden designer. I met somebody who do interior design, but I found them all struggling about how to get jobs. And that's why they came to this event. I said to them, well, I didn't came here because I'm struggling to find jobs. I just heard about the networking. I haven't done networking for a long time. And I was like, just go and give it a go. So I went there and I found most of the people around the table, they are struggling for jobs. So I asked for the gardener to give me their, card and let them tell me about what they're doing, where they base, examples of their work. If they have anything I can see, give me maybe if they have Instagram to post their type of works. And I looked at them, okay, I might help them. So I found myself there to help them. You know what I mean? Yeah. But then I received from the organizer to send me a few emails, text messages. Okay, we are doing another event. If you have a package, you pay this amount of months. And I was like, why I need to do all of that? I'm not gaining anything. But these people keep pushing you to go to these kind of networks, and maybe it work for other people. Like I try not to, because these people making living as well. Sorry, I'm not. No. But I'm just telling the bottom line of this for people. If I tried it and it's not for me, cut it off. Move forward. Don't waste your time. Don't go behind something because they painted. You're gonna get leads or jobs behind. At the end of it, it's not. It doesn't work this way.
Quality interactions. Yeah. Quality, and like you say, actually being friends. Something I've just started doing this recently. I try, and by the way, I'll have to get your number after this. I like to get people's numbers. I like to try and operate my business from WhatsApp now because it's just so much more informal.
WhatsApp is an amazing tool.
It is amazing. When you're in an email, it just there's something about it. Like I'll check my emails later, or I'll reply tomorrow. If it's a text, I'll probably just reply then and there. And I find, because a lot of things, let's say when we're, producing a podcast for someone, and it's like, this clip, do you want me to cut this bit out? I can just send it a quick voice message, and it's so much more personal.
Yeah.
And when you've got that kind of relationship with someone, it just makes it 10 times better. You're so much more comfortable. They're more comfortable. Everything about it just works.
Exactly. Yeah. And and the advice for small businesses and practitioners, sole practitioners, if they receive these emails, if they went for these networks and they think they met many people, I know you feel happy during the time when you are there because you are talking to people. But when you go back, you try, okay, let's make reflection. Is it for me? If it's not, just cut it off. Stop wasting your time trying to go for more of these kind of events unless it works for you. Because 1 or 2 people attend this event, they emailed me, how you find it? Are you coming to the next one next week? I said, so I'm not coming. I'm sorry. But it was nice meeting you. They said, we are going. We might have clients. I said, make sure that you don't waste your time because I spend much time, maybe you call it, I'm wasting my time by creating more things for my clients to make them happy. But I still having reward afterwards. But don't waste your time on trying to get something. It might never happen because people who arranging it, they are making money from you.
Oh yeah,
and they will keep it going.
Do you know what? I've got a very funny story. This happened yesterday. So there's it's about going to a sort of networking event, or it was actually an expose. So there's a few ways we make money. Obviously, we have the studio. We sell podcast packages. And that's one thing. But since we started doing our own podcast, we are partnering with companies and we are introducing them, getting introducer fees. So one of them is a payroll company. It's one of our partners. And we went to this recruitment expose to meet people and introduce them, that kind of thing. And it turned out to be just, we're having better luck on LinkedIn. It's just easier. It was kind of unnecessary to go. So it was me and my business partner. We just dipped out. Then we're like, we'll go home. We gave it a try, sort of thing. It's not the way we need to go. But hilariously, when we got to the car park, we saw this guy, and he'd just come off the phone at the exact moment we got to the car. It was a £2 million. I can't remember what it was. It was some kind of souped up Lambo, and my business partner just went, "Nice car, mate." And he was like, "Oh, thanks." And we just had a little chat, and I just again, Sam knows a lot of money in some of these referrals we do. With various different companies, and I just said as a joke, "Don't suppose you need this or that, we can refer to our partner," sort of. And he was like, "How did you know?" And it was like a joke, but his face dropped, like, "How do you know what I do?" sort of thing. Like, I didn't. I was just trying my luck, And it became a bit of a thing where it's like, do you know what? Making money is not what you do; it's who you are. I'm the kind of guy to ask that question, everywhere I go and just try your luck. But so yeah, ended up being a total waste of time, except for had we left at the exact right moment, we were parked in the exact right spot, 140 miles away from home, and now we've got a very good lead.
Yeah, because you made the effort. That's why I'm saying I didn't regret I went there. But if I didn't go, I would be saying, maybe I should have gone to learn. But that's how we learn. You never regret the experience.
No.
Even if you went out back to your office and you said, it's not for me. But you learned what's going on. If you receive more of this kind of events, I'm going to look. I was like, I might give it a go. I'm free for the next hour. I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? Don't regret it. Try it. But if it's not going to do anything for you in the future, cut it off. You always learn something, don't you? It's the same thing. We tried something maybe about a year ago. Tried partnering with someone to take on certain parts of the business. It didn't work out very well. It put us behind quite drastically, but it changed something in my mind, which was because I'm not a traditional business guy. I'm a guy who started recording bands, and then I learned the odd little thing about business, and it's just changed and grown and become a thing over 10 years to the point where I'm deeply interested in business. But I never considered myself like a commercial guy or like the guy who does the businessy parts of a business, even though, and I just thought, we'll get someone in who does that, and that is their bread and butter. It didn't work. Turns out I know more than I need to know to make this work for me. And that's it. I'll never again question that. Yeah. From a negative experience. We learn from the process. Like when I mentioned about writing a business plan. To be honest, when I go and look at my business plan I wrote back in 2015, I keep laughing. I was like, who run a business of a book? It doesn't work.
No.
But that's how they convince you, people who are selling this product.
Well, I heard one of the biggest businesses
that you can run a business until you do it.
But no. Yeah, one of the biggest industries in the world is how to make money, which is like, one of the most common ways is make a business. So people are just they call it, shovel sellers. They're not actually out looking for gold. They're selling the shovels for other people to do it, sort of thing.
Well, the other thing happened during lockdowns. There was a lot of, I'm not sure if it comes, in Facebook or any social media outlets there, you must have heard a lot about property developer courses. It was a trend since 2020.
And do you know from your experience that is just...
to be honest, I follow the trend.
Oh, really?
And I said, I'm going to attend a few of these workshops online. It was a trend going. And then every time you go for a workshop, they're selling you packages. And I was like, here we go. Okay, next. You try because you will hear other people. They will say, you will hear the advert. I was like, go for it. And it ended up the same. Until last year, something comes through the Institute, Chartered Institute of Architecture Technology. Somebody advertise it this way: how you work smart with less hours, earning more money. And I was like, here we go, a big lie. Let's go and attend.
Yeah.
And I attended on purpose. So this workshop finished, and again, they're selling a product. I received this email from the organizer and said, okay, would you buy these images? Like, no, can you give me a ring? And we want to discuss it. Because I had enough myself. And I was like, I said everything was about, I attended because I was interested on the title of this workshop and the content that you delivered, which doesn't relate. And that's fake. I'm a person who deliver a genuine service to people, and you didn't. And to tell me to work less hours and earn money, that's again another cheat. And I started challenging the person who delivered this workshop. And I said to him, I'm honest. Architects and architecture technologists, people how they have to work hard. They will have to work extra to maintain the revenue for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. You can always streamline certain things. Don't
tell me. We are not creating dummies.
No, you can always find ways to do things a little quicker or a bit more effective. But that whole work less, make more. It's
and this person, he says, yeah, okay, you know what you're doing. You cannot be one of mine. I was like, well, obviously I'm not. But I couldn't have this feedback and don't say it. I never scared to tell my opinion, even if they hurt.
Of course.
I have to say it. And I wanted to say it to that person. First of all, I want to advise him to be genuine with people when he deliver a training courses. don't give them a fake vibe about something that's impossible. Because there were really more than 200 people attending this event online. And it's really, these people have the skills to convince you. They paint the picture that if you follow this, if you buy our package, you will make money. But I'm a business owner. I run my own business. I know how it works. Because I checked his profile. He's not even an architect or architecture technologist. How you know it works? you know. So don't tell people something that you don't know exactly how it works.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. There are ways to, make more money and all that, but it has to be backed with just genuine. I mean, here's the thing. I don't believe in silver bullets. I believe in smarter ways to make more money. Yeah. And the things that I preach are, targeted networking. If you're doing it right, i.e. meeting the right people.
Yeah.
Video content, I think, has a place. Like, say, for example, when I post this online, people that will be seeing my face. People that I know will be seeing your face. And that's just scaling your face-to-face marketing. Then I believe in referrals, which is exactly how both of us make our money. And that's it. I believe that works. Anything else is just snake oil, really, or
but there's still people making money out of it, because the people who are receiving this kind of training, maybe they don't have the skills or they have the time to put much effort to do their own research, understanding who those people and how they get to this level. If you think about people who are doing the property development courses and they charge this huge amount of money, if they said, okay, we give you this package for £5,000 and we make you the best property developer in the future. And I was like, well, if you are the person who have done it and you are the person now a multi-millionaire, why you try to teach people to be your competitors?
Well, yeah, do you know what I'm curious about?
It doesn't work in my head.
Do you think someone who's genuinely out there doing the real work and making real good results, do you think you'd be able to put together a package like that? Is it possible?
To be honest, I feel like when I come to the conclusion, and I don't think they are making good money from property development thing. That's why they're doing these courses to convince people, go and do it because you're going to make money.
I've heard that before. If you can't teach or something like that. I don't know how relevant, I don't know how real that is.
But to be honest, because I read about it, you must watch BBC program about what they call Under Hammer or something, and when they put houses on auctions, people buy them and they renovate them, and then it keep running on the BBC. But then when I read a lot about it, I love to dig deep in everything when I put it in my head, and I found that they could have filmed many people buying these properties, but they only chose to broadcast the successful stories. They're never going to show you the disasters for people who went to buy properties thinking they're going to make money as a property developers. They buy houses that they don't know exactly what's the problem with them, and they find out, okay, we bought it for £100,000, but we need to spend £300,000 on it, and end up a big fail. So BBC never posts these stories. They're going to post only successful stories just to encourage people to go and do this. But this is an example just to tell you, don't follow these painted pictures by people who they are the same people as you, but they are just clever enough to find a way to make a product and sell it. It's a product.
That's
at the
exactly
end of the
right.
day.
Yeah.
Just use your own time to invest in yourself, and believe me, there is always a way of doing things. Before I start my own business, when I resigned, you have this moment, oh my God, how I'm gonna do it? But stop questioning yourself how I'm going to do it. Just say, I'm going to do it. And you will find things ease day by day. Because if you start putting the work and the hard work, and if you are really genuine, you want to do something, you want to make a change, you can do it. But if you start thinking, oh, how I'm going to do it? It's hard. You start building obstacles in front of you. You cannot go beyond them. But if you say to yourself, I know it's not easy, but I can do it. There is nothing impossible. That's what I always say to myself. And one day it will be a history. You can do it.
I'm a big big believer that you just jump into things, even little things. Say, for example, having these conversations with people, I sometimes get a bit nervous about them for no reason other than, I mean, like, obviously I love chatting with people. This is great. I'm really enjoying this. But I sometimes think, oh my God, what if I don't ask very good questions? Or what if I can't think? Or what if there's no chemistry? Or I worry about these things sometimes, and I start to maybe be like, oh, well, I'll plan out my interviews a bit better. But then when I do that, I'm even worse. So I like to just jump in with a bit of an agenda, which is find out about your story and just jump in. And every time without fail, I find myself having a great time and having great conversations. So I'm a big believer in just jump in. And if there's a problem, be ready to deal with it.
Yeah. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Think that you're going to fail through the process. Just do the basic homework and just go for it. Believe me, you will build it up and you will end up successful. That's how I believe. Just do it. Don't stop yourself. Don't think it's hard. A simple example again. I sent my child to study medicine at King's College London in his own, and 3 weeks now. And he's amazing. A child that he's my only child. I used to feed him, clean and wash for him and take him everywhere. I'm doing everything. And then you will end up, okay, he's going to university. How he going to survive? Because I didn't give him the chance to make even a cup of tea. Me and my husband, we're doing everything for him. But when he finished his A-level and we know that there is only 3 months left, how are we going to change that? So when he woke up in the morning, Mama, what's for breakfast? Go and make it. Mama, what's for lunch? Go and make it. Mama, go and clean your room. We started just 3 months. And I think we did it.
Wow.
we
made him
it.
self-sufficient in 3 months.
Yeah. And he keep posting me photos. And Mama, look, I cooked Chinese food today. Mama, I made rice with the glazed chicken and with honey. And I was like, oh, amazing. Mama, I made Italian pasta. And I was like, wow. Mama, I cleaned my room. And Mama, I'm using underground. I'm going to train tonight at this club. I'm coming back. Oh, Mama, it's 11 o'clock, but I'm coming back to my room because I finished training sessions. I looked at my husband, I was like, we thought that's not going to happen. We were really too much scared about doing things. But I think those 3 months when we let him, we give him the space, he starts learning. And this is what we need to do. Give ourselves the time. We learn, we develop, and we move forward. And we have nothing to worry about because there is nothing impossible.
Yeah, I have a similar thing with my little girl. Like anything that I think she can do, I will make sure she does it, even if it takes 10, 20 times longer. And it's a real thing because I think most people around in her life, they'll do stuff for her. And she will let you do things for her.
Yeah.
I won't. I don't. And at the time she's like, oh, why won't you do this? Even little, just tiny things like, if you brush your teeth, hang that towel up, where are those clothes going, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm just making, and it's definitely a thing at first. She's like, and I'm, she's 10 now, so I'm getting attitude back. But it's like,
it's the discipline. Because my son is a sport boy from really young age, from 6 years, from age of 6 months, he started going to the pool with my husband, learning how to swim from early age. And then from age of 3, he started doing tennis, basketball, karate and, swimming. So his program was always full and then football. And then at age of 12, we told him, you need to drop all these sports and keep one. And we gave him the time to learn how to make decisions. It's not easy for a child, age 12, having a network with the friends in different sports to tell him, you need to make it now. You have a school, moving to high school in a few years, and you need to make decisions. And it wasn't easy. He was crying to quit football, to quit basketball, tennis. And he says, Mom, I'm going to choose doing swimming. And we're glad that we let him learn how sometimes you need to get rid of things and keep focusing, on something. And now he's studying medicine. He did amazing on his A-level because he follows the parents' steps. We are well organized on everything in our time, how we manage things. There is time for fun. There is time for hard work. There is time for family, to be with your family. There is time where you need to go and sleep. Sleep is important. And that's what he's learning now. And I'm still reminding him, I'm still telling him, I'm not happy because you arrived 2 minutes before your training sessions. You need to improve this. Respect time. Respect the coaches being poolside earlier. Be there. I keep until today, until this morning, I'm telling him, Make sure you respect people's time and value what they are doing for you. Because this is lessons for life. I know he's still 18, he's still learning. But the level of disciplines that everyone noticed in his personality, I feel like I did an amazing job of raising a child. Everyone, when I put the post on Facebook to my friends to say, my son moved to London, the messages coming from parents who know him through, relationship with their kids and everything. It's amazing and make me so proud that I did the hard work. And now it's him to carry on the hard work and keep the level of respect for himself and for people surrounding him. Yeah.
Right. Just one more thing I want to talk about, and that's just kind of how it looks for a client when they start working with you. So let's say someone's come in, they want a project doing, they've been introduced to you. How does it look?
So I give you an example. That was last year. I have a client already. I'm working with him on a project in Ireland. And he said to me, I recommended you to one of them, to two people. One of them is my boss and one of them is a friend. And he said, when next time you come into Ireland so we can arrange for a meeting? And I said, I could come tomorrow. I never show my clients that I don't have the time. I always try to tell them I'm ready. I never put a negative thing in my head to say, they will think that I don't have nothing to do.
I was going to say, because that's a common thing. I've heard people go, I won't email back straight away because it looks like I'm desperate or something. It's like, I don't know. I
run my own business. Yeah. I'm nobody to tell me where the time I need to leave my office or when I should travel. When a client approached me to say, when next time you can come to Ireland so you can have a meeting with somebody, I said, I can make it tomorrow because I am the owner of my own time. I can arrange my schedule. Like this meeting today, when we can say propose a few times, and I told you I'm flexible. I can make it anytime unless I'm traveling or I have a meeting. But I can make things. That's the joy of when you are running your own business.
I know, right?
So, and he said to me, okay, let me give them a ring and see when they are both free, because one of them is his boss. He's running a big business. And the other one is a friend. He could be, he could be busy as well. So he said, they both agreed on that day. Would you be able to come in next week on Monday? I said, perfect. My flight is booked. I booked my flight. I went. I did my first meeting with the first one. What I like about Irish people, when you meet them, you are like you now. They're like friends. You feel like you live with them for years. So I met the first client. He took me to the site. We went through, we start talking. He says to me, would you like to take it? I said, yeah, but I need to write, the brief. I'm going to price it and I give it to you for your comments. If you're happy, we sign the contract. Left the first meeting, went to another county in Ireland. I met the second client. I was with my client there and the new client who's, proposed to be my second client. And he said to everyone, because he is a site full of people and everything. So he said to my friend, which is my client, he says, just keep a distance. I'm going to take Gihan to walk through and explain what I want to do. I went for a tour through the site. We start talking. And he went back to my client to say, I like her. She got the job. And I was like, I didn't give you the price or anything. Put whatever figure you want. And I was like, oh gosh, okay, fantastic. So, but again, because I was genuine, I was clear. I'm telling them what I can do. And when I go to these meetings, I'm happy to give even ideas, even if they go to a different client. I like to educate these people who propose to be my clients. I'm genuine. That's me. People say, okay, we need to charge people from the first visit because sometimes we go beyond our limits and we give advices, we give ideas and things. And I said, no, I don't want to charge people. Even if they chose to go to somebody else with this knowledge I gave to them, I'm still happy. And that's me. That's how I approach my clients. So once we have this meetings, when I give them my price, to be honest, so far none of them said to me, that's too high. They just sign it and they say, let's go ahead, which is fantastic. I think maybe because they understand me, maybe because I was clear from day one. I was happy to tell them everything from day one. So that's why they feel like it's easy to communicate with me. So make the communication clear with your clients from day one. Make everything easy later. So that is my approaches to my business, and that's how I get more referral from them to get more clients. So yeah,
that is lovely. Well, I'll tell you what, I've really enjoyed this chat, but I think we'll call it there. Gihan, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. And you're an easy person to talk to. I feel like I know you from before. So I feel like we're always talking.
Yeah, as are you. I'm sure I'll know you for years to come.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching this episode. Again, if you think you'd be a good guest on the show, then please drop me an email at joe@innersound.media. See you in the next episode.